I'm going to talk about this theoretical model of reading development. It's a very classic research that is conducted in 2003 by Maurice Bloodgood, Lomax, and Perney. This article is looking at a few very important early literacy variables or early literacy components, such as phonemic awareness, concept of word in text, and the child's ability to finally decode and read. So, Maurice et al., the authors of this article, are saying that when there is a developmental sequence, a developmental trajectory a student goes through to acquire decoding skills. So that is basically beginning readers' acquisition of word reading knowledge is an early form of phonemic awareness. So they're saying the child's phonemic awareness precedes the ability to finger point, and then the child can later phoneme segment phonemes, which will help them reading. So before we say these again, I want to define some terms. Phonemic awareness is basically a sound play without really involving any print or letter knowledge yet. So when the child has this ability of phoneme segmenting or phoneme blending or phoneme identifying, we can say that the child has the phonemic awareness. Okay, so then what is cow? Well, here in this model, they use just CW for concept of word. We usually use COW, cow, for concept of word. So let's define concept word first. I found a very nice concept of word definition that they provided, the authors, Maurice et al., provided. That's on page 322 in their article. That is, so at about the middle of the page 320, first column, it says, concept of word in text refers to a child's ability to finger point read a sentence and then go back and identify a target word within the sentence. So the bottom line is cow, concept of word, is the child's ability to be able to track the print, and then when prompted, they can identify a target word within the sentence or sometimes out of the context. So there are a rudimentary cow and a mature cow. At the beginning to middle, almost to the middle, at the middle of kindergarten, children usually develop rudimentary cow, which means they are able to finger point read a sentence or two or a few more, and when prompted, they can identify a target word within the sentence. That is usually at the middle of the kindergarten time. But later in the kindergarten and in the first grade, a child can have a more mature cow concept of word. A more mature cow involves awareness of spacing between words, and they pay attention to both beginning and ending consonant letter sounds, not just the beginning consonants, just like as compared to the rudimentary cow ability in the middle of the kindergarten. So the more mature concept of word involves awareness of spacing between words, and they are able to pay attention to the beginning consonant and ending consonant letter sounds. And they also are able to identify target words inside the story and outside the context. So that is the mature cow. Here we also want to know about concepts about print. Concepts about print is the same term as print referencing, like the Zucker article was talking about. So concepts about print refers to a variety of print-related understandings, including book orientation. For example, where is the front of the book? Where is the back of the book? Is this the picture, or where are the words and prints? The kinds of awareness about the book like that. And print direction concept. Does the child know left to right and top to bottom and return sweeps kind of conventions? And does the child have letters and words concepts? And does the child also have the punctuation? Does he know when to put a question mark, when to put a period, and so forth? Now, let's return to this model of the model of reading development. So, this timeline is a very general but a very important timeline for children when we can explain the trajectory of their reading development. So here at the beginning kindergarten at time 1, the children usually know and learn the ABC, the alphabet knowledge, and they basically learn to pick up the beginning consonant phoneme awareness. So they should know beginning consonant at this time. And then at the middle kindergarten, at time 2, the children usually develop the rudimentary concept of word. And they are able to spell with a beginning and the ending sound, or they are able to spot or identify beginning sounds and ending consonant sounds. So that there's the SPBE, spelling, beginning and ending consonant letter sounds. So again, at this time in the middle kindergarten, children are capable of rudimentary cow. That's again, they're capable of fingerprint read. That means again, they are tracking the words in print and be able to track the words in print, and then when prompted, they know to identify targeted words in a story within the context. And basically at this time, the children's rudimentary cow has usually with the awareness of beginning consonant letter sounds. And as we move toward time 3, at the end of the kindergarten, the kindergartners are capable of segmenting phonemes. That's what PS stands for. They are able to segment phonemes. And that phoneme segmenting will prompt them to recognize and read words. They are finally decoding words with the phoneme segmenting. And then, so that word recognition, it's at the 2 months into first grade, time 4, 2 months into first grade. And then they go into the end of first grade at time 5. They are finally conventionally reading. So the importance of this article is saying that there is the emergence of concept of word in text, the cow ability, and that cow's relationship to the phoneme segmentation. So what it is saying is, when a child is doing the segmenting by the end of the kindergarten, they're able to segment any phonemes that shows that they are able to start decoding and reading. Maurice et al. Was saying in page 318 in their article that an alternative way to assess phoneme segmentation is through invented spelling attempts. That is, if a kindergartner spells back, B-A-C-K, back as B-A-K, or feet, F-E-E-T, as F-E-T, this kindergartner is demonstrating the ability to segment the word into phonemes. So, in other words, phoneme segmenting ability is sort of a precursor for a child to be able to decode word. And then before that, when you go back to this T1 time, at time 1, when the child knows the beginning consonant letter sounds, BC, beginning consonant, this is a phonemic awareness. That is a precursor for cow and spelling and recognizing the beginning and ending consonant letter sounds ability. So cow is a very crucial component for a emergent beginning child because the cow is kind of a watershed mark in a kid's timeline that let's see here, as it says, concept of word in text cow follows beginning consonant awareness and preceded full phonemic segmentation of a syllable. So what they're saying is, if the child can have the rudimentary ability of cow at the middle kindergarten at time 2, this means they have the phonemic awareness, at least beginning consonant awareness, and then simultaneously beginning and ending consonant letter awareness, phonemic awareness, and these will help them push to do the phoneme segmenting, which will lead them to word reading and decoding. So there, in this article, Maurice et al. Are saying that there is a temporal relationship between some of these early literacy variables, such as concept of word, phonemic awareness. Concept of word is like a linking quality, is like a linking variable that pushes a child to have the phonemic awareness, and that once they have that pushes them to have the phoneme segmentation, which will ultimately help them decode. So this was an important article that talked about the child's ability of tracking the print, meaning finger point reading the words in print. So I want you, as you are reading this article, I want you to think about the relationship between phoneme awareness, cow, and their decoding ability, and how is invented spelling come into play. How does invented spelling help the children to decode and be able to segment phonemes better? So what are these variables relationships? Phoneme awareness, phonemic awareness, cow, invented spelling, and finally conventional reading. What are the relationships? I want you to think about that. The second thing I want you to think about it is, what are some of the phonemic awareness and cow activities did these authors use to assess their participant children that are aged between 5 and 7? They specifically used a few different kinds of phonemic awareness tests. Which ones are they? And what cow activities did they use? And how can you use these activities for your children? Can you use them directly exactly how they use them here in this article in their experiment? Or do you need to modify for your focus child according to your child developmental level of reading? And the third one I want you to remember is this general model, because when we are teaching our students, we are progressing from this kind of simple to a little more complex trajectory. We start with the beginning sound to cow to phoneme segmentation and word reading to conventional reading. So when your child is at the T5 or T4 levels, then we are going to give developmentally relevant activities and assessments. For example, if I know that my child is already reading conventionally, I know that my child is at the T5, time 5, at least at end of the first grade level. So for this child, I will not give the test, like for example, about the ABC letter knowledge. I won't ever check whether my child who is a conventional reader, I will not check their alphabet letter sound knowledge, because that's at the T1, time 1 kinds of variable. And if I know that my child that's at T5, a conventional reader, I will not give my child who's a conventional reader at T5, time 5, I will probably not give my child identifying beginning consonant variable, because that variable is at T1 at the beginning kindergarten time. And so this timeline tells us, teachers, how we should think about our children to see which stage they are at. And so by following this kind of model, a general model, we will not regress our children 6 months to a year back by giving ABC test or beginning consonant test when they are already at T5, time 5 readers. So think about those points.